Good Saturday evening, everybody. Spirit of 420 here, because everything I do is so 420, including streaming all the time. It's funny because I stream in the beginning. I really did it 100% for me, and I mean that. Um, Love you, buddy. Literally talking about you. And now I find myself in a bad way. So, in fact, it has to do with being humble and humility, right? But I find myself now streaming because others count on it. And I said it in the beginning, and maybe people didn't fully believe me. I'm getting a jank rate. But if I only affect one life, if I only bring one, what's up, brother? How's it going? If all I bring is one life, a better life, joy, motivation, whatever the words they were talking about. If I only do that to one person, if I'm only doing that just for a single person, then it's worth me going on. It's worth more than just myself, right? Hey, what's up, brother? How's it going, man? Nice to see you. Love what you're doing, Joe. Don't think I don't know. But when, it's only going to grow. So it's not just about me anymore. It's the same thing you learn, and I'm not saying that I'm a parent by no stretch, but it's the same concept that you learn the first time you hold your kid in their hands. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you as well. Hang out. I appreciate that. The fact of the matter is, I've never done this. I try to be humble, number one. That's part of what I'm trying. And I didn't used to. I was a very cocky, just downright jackass kind of guy, right? And now, like, the person that I'm trying to be is different, so different. But as I've tried to tell everybody that's around me today, and I can't describe. I'm trying. I cannot describe to y'all. By the way, I'm actually clean. My hair is just wet. I didn't put any product in it, but I just took a shower. So I've been talking about this a lot lately, but it was about a year ago, little over a year ago now. I really started loving myself. And for me, loving yourself means that I'm a numbers guy, so I put things in perspective with numbers. If you're loving yourself more than 50%, then you're hating yourself, then you're loving yourself, right? Because the majority of you now is happy with you, right? And I had gotten to that point a little over a year ago and lost one of the things that made me one of the happiest men alive, and that's being a father, right? And I've never felt more important than being a father. And I have started to feel a little bit of that again in what I'm doing now, because I know that other people are getting something from me showing them that anybody can be strong, anybody can be whatever the fuck they want to be. It's literally all up here, right? But as I was looking to love myself, I have had it's funny because in the last week or two, really in the last week, as tomorrow brings and rears its existence. I can't say ugly because that same day is a beautiful day for one of my best friends. And the same day that his daughter turns 10 is also the 1 year anniversary of me losing mine. And I cannot explain that I've never loved myself as much as I do right now. Hated everything at the same time. I'm missing. And all these good things that are happening to me are hardly there because he's not. And even though I preach that everything happens for a reason, I'm not saying that I don't agree with it or I don't believe it. I don't give a fuck right now. That's it. I don't give a shit. And I know it's selfish. It's not who I am. It's not what I preach. But I've never been, these are new, it's all new territory. I've never loved myself as much as I do right now and never been so fucking angry at the same time. That's all I know to say. And I promised myself, you know, some people don't know, some people do, I guess. But last year, my son died at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on the street. I didn't get word until 10:40. And I was streaming. I streamed that night. I don't normally stream. I really don't. When I say that, I don't normally stream on even days. I stream odd days of the week. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on. Partly because I love primes. It is tough. And I'm sorry that I lost it there. I probably turned some people off. But, you know, the reality is if you don't feel the pain, then you can't feel the joy. And that's why I said it's such a torn feeling. I've been trying to deal with it. But again, on the 22nd last year, I streamed at 7:20. Actually, fun enough, it was a Flick Dick episode. I ended up doing like, I'll obviously never forget it, but I ended up doing like 5 movies that night. 5 movie reviews, for those of you who don't know what Flick Dick is. And I got it was funny because a young man, who called me and made me aware of what was happening. He's here tonight. He's downstairs, and he's a friend, or excuse me, he is a family member. He has been a family member. First, he started out as a friend of the family, and then he became a family member when he lived with us. And he's the one that I've said it before. It makes my whole day is better when this kid is around, always, for 2 reasons now. One, after being with us for a little over a year, he came to me in tears, by the way, and said that I had taught him what the true meaning of the word family meant. And I cannot tell y'all, I cannot tell you enough of how that was one of the greatest moments of my life. It's one of the greatest moments of my life. Right? I mean, it goes back to what I was saying here. And what's funny is for that to be a great moment, I don't know if this makes sense, but A, you have to have humility, and B, you have to be humble. Otherwise, somebody to say something like that wouldn't mean a fuck. hard to you. It didn't mean anything. You're like, okay, great. But anyway, he is here, and he'll be here tomorrow. And I will go live tomorrow. Now I'm changing the script a little bit in honor of Skylar. So I will stream and start streaming at the exact moment that he stopped being here. It was instantaneous for him. Just for those of you who may not know the story, it was horrific. It was on a motorcycle. It was instant, and there was no suffering. So I have that much to know, or that much to love and know. And I think I've said this before. I think everybody knows this, with the young woman who, her and her sister tried to save my son that day and gave him life-saving measures. And, she did it because that's what you do. He was gone. And I was told that later on, like nothing that anybody did, or it was just over instantly. And y'all understand that I'll just be blunt about it, but it was a broken neck. It was over instantly. But the young woman that tried to save his life with her sister holding her and praying, and she was doing the life-saving measures. She will be here tomorrow, and what I look at is over the last 52 Sundays, she has been here more than half. She's a young woman, and she's not family, and for her to do that, I think shows a lot of. She feels like family. She, in turn, says that she's like family, and she shows it with her actions. Everything's, at Christmas time, it was clear we're about to have another Christmas already again. But the simple reality is also what I call Sky's secret girlfriend is a friend of the family. She will be here tomorrow. I mean, these are beautiful things. And what I mean by beautiful things, these two lovely young women both look to me as a father figure. So in a world where I was never given a daughter, right? Because God knew kind of, this works out better because I got my daughters at 22 and 27 years old. Don't have to worry. They were already living their lives. All I got to do is help guide them now. You know what I mean? That's all I have to do. It is. And she, I'll tell you another one. This will make you feel good, but hopefully it does. She wrote a poem. So that happened on the 22nd. She met us on, I believe it was the 29th. Or was it the 30th? Because it was Monday. I think she got in touch with us Monday. Anyway, it took her 9 days to find out Skylar's name, because she didn't even know his name. And when I say that, you'll love this part, but she didn't even know his name. All she knew was, he was a motorcycle rider and died that day on the street. Right? That's what she knew of him. So that night, she wrote a poem, or maybe it was the next day. I can't remember, but it was within 24 hours of it happening. She wrote a poem describing Sky, and it literally describes him to a T. It's amazing. She's actually, in a world where it could have been anybody, she's like a female version of Sky. I kid you not. It is so, what's the word? Not a coincidence that she's just like Skylar. Yep. Thank you, brother. So again, you're going to love this part of it. I mean, you really will. That day, the 22nd, Taylor Swift put out a song on Spotify. I don't know where else it was released. All I know is if you go to Spotify and look up Bigger Than the Whole Sky by Taylor Swift, you'll see it was released on the 22nd of October in the year 2022, right? So here's what's really bizarre about all that. Bigger Than the Whole Sky, first of all, has his name in it. The song is literally Taylor Swift singing about a miscarriage where she lost a child. So the vast majority of the song is about a life that never got the opportunity, right, to blossom. It was taken out very, the flame was put out, kind of thing, right? So that song is put out on the same day. And this young lady started listening to it that day. And without even knowing why. Because she ended up she told me later. And I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. She's been listening to it like all week, right? Anyway, she had been listening to it all week. And then when she met us, it all made sense. Because I will say this, there's names involved here too. There's a little bit more. I'm just trying to keep people's privacy. I'm talking about Skylar. He's not here, so he doesn't care about privacy anymore. And I'm just being real, right? But essentially, it's more than just Skylar's name that is the same, and it's such like everything I already told you. If that doesn't even sound like a crazy fucking coincidence, I don't know what to tell you. You know, Taylor Swift puts out a song on the same day that my son dies, called "Bigger Than the Whole Sky," about a dude or about losing a child that never had a chance to be what it could have been, which is quite frankly, the way I see it, any person as a parent, let me say this, any person that dies before the age 50, like if I died now, my mom would really hate it, and I get that, and she would even say it's before my time, but I've had 50 fucking years, I've raised children. I'm gonna die anytime soon. I'm just saying, I'm just being real. I did not have time to and it's a little dirty, but I want to show you where spirit came from. That's spirit 1.0. And can you see the resemblance? And then there's me, and then there's that, right? So yeah, everything happens for a reason. It's don't get me wrong. I literally, this is what I told my mom and my wife, and this is why it's so fucking weird. I cannot fight this angry feeling in me. It is literally, it feels as if it was programmed, and like, because here I am, I'm extremely proud of myself, and I'm not a egotistical way, but in a, I finally understand this, and I love myself, and I'm giving myself kudos, and I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to teach other people the same exact concept. What's up, Vital? Hadn't seen you in a while. We need to find a way to hook up, man, because I thought somebody else was you. I'd like to have you on the show, and I remember it, and I didn't forget. See, I didn't forget. We need to find a way. So, shit. We need to figure out. Oh, dude, email me directly at spirit of 420. No, sorry, I was giving it to you. So 420, SO420 at spirit of420.com. Sorry. So SO420, any of y'all can email. I don't give a fuck. So 420 at spirit of420.com. Lost my train of thought, but I'll get right back. Hold on. Well, maybe I won't. I'm trying, because it was bringing it full circle, if you will. But I saw Vital, and I had to say, "What's up, man?" No, it was, there was somebody else, dude. No, I got totally confused. Because I don't think I've taught. Are you? So I'm just going to ask you, Vital, and maybe I am getting confused, but are you over the age of 14? Simple yes or no will do. So back to what I was not remembering and not seeing. I'm trying to get it. I Swanee. Swanee. Well, it really, you know what? I'll just go from here. What do we got there? Hey, I don't care who's. So you are over the age of 14, right? Then I'm telling you, we just need to connect, dude. You got the email. If not, go and rewind it, listen to it. Email me, because I know that you and I on a show, we talked about you being on it. Yes, NZ did too. But I know I talked about you being on a show, because then I ended up thinking that it was this other kid who's really nice, but can't stream because he's just not old enough to. Long story. I was, and that's so kind of like, I don't want to get any kind of trouble, you know what I mean? There you go. And I'm on Discord, and I don't know if we're a friend there, but you can also message me on here, and then I can just give you my email. Again, I really don't care who has the email. It's no big deal. I don't have a lot of people emailing me and bothering me, so I'm good. You're good, Joe. You're going to be on the show too, dude. And that I see what was happening for you, Joe. Sorry that you got confused. Take your time, brother. Take your time. I'm oh my God, I just looked up and it's 2222. That was if mom's watching, she knows. So right when I looked up Mama Dearest, not Mama Dearest, Mama Dearest, it was 22 minutes and 22 seconds. So I was 22. 22's they plague my life now, and not in a bad way. There's a positive definition for the word plague, just so everybody knows, and in a very good way, it is, because I don't want to get rid of those 22s. I want to see them all the time. But I'll come back to this. This is what I always come back to, because the same things matter. Everything does happen for a reason. It's amazing. A lot of people, they really don't get how. Oh, hold on a minute. Cuckoo. Yeah, my clock is fine. It doesn't. Most people, or I should say, maybe it's fast. Yeah, it's fast. And it's off. I've got to fix it. I got to do clock repair. They look at me and they ask, like, how are you able? First, they don't understand how I got through losing a child. Number one, and first and foremost reason, is that I have 3 more to still raise and still need a father. Right? So there's really no choice, just so you know. Number 2, I told you I had just gotten to the point where I love myself. I wasn't about to quit on life when I'm just learning how to appreciate who I am. You know what I mean? So, like, there you go. You have good bud, brother. I know you do. When again, some people will get this, some people don't. But when you love yourself and you are humble and you are full of humility, it's a different type of love. It's, well, I kind of said it a minute ago. It's more like an appreciation for who you are and what you bring to this world, right? And the whole thing that I continue to tell people is that people are always looking. They really are. It's a very common um, issue that people are constantly looking for the key to happiness. I believe I have found it, and I don't mean that in some egotistical way. If you love yourself, then everything works out, and that's as happy as you can be. Right? If you truly want to be happy, then you got to know that it's not a price. It comes with a balance. To be happy is that at times you're going to be sad. You cannot have one without the other. In fact, you can't even understand one without the other, right? So the key and it is just one thing. People too. Is it one? Yes, it is. It's just one thing. truly love yourself, and if you start loving yourself, like I say, at 51 to 49%, right, which is one more percent than you hate yourself, or 2% over, really, right? That just starts to grow. It's a momentum builder, right? And eventually you will have full love of yourself the same way that you feel like you love somebody else. And what's funny is when that happens, and even when it starts to happen, when it first really starts to happen in you, I'll talk about that in a minute, because a lot of people are like, hey man, how do you love yourself? Because I fucking hate myself. I did, just so you know. But when that starts to happen, you will find out that you love your mother, your kids, your wife. I was trying to think, maybe your partner. Sorry, right? Um, you will truly find out that you love them even more, because it is a more pure love when you love yourself first. And a lot of people think that that's a self thing, but it's not actually, because once you love yourself, you can actually love other people, and you realize that you weren't truly loving them to the full potential of what love is. You didn't love yourself. Let me give you an example of what I mean by, just a real quick example. When you do not fully love yourself, right, and a child gets mad at you, and I'm speaking from experience, right? I had children in my late 20s, and then I had children in my early 40s, right? A little span of 11 years between kids. Started at 28, and then almost, what was it? Well, the last one was almost 42, but I was 39. So, if you love yourself, oh no, sorry, let's go back to, if you are loving your kids, but you truly don't love yourself, right? Which I believe, and I am not trying to be rude, but I believe is the vast majority of this world. Even the people that right now are sitting home going, I love myself, really look at it. Because if you're breaking any of these things, and if you're doing any of these things, then you truly love yourself yet. You feel like you do, and maybe you have an appreciation, but when you love yourself, everything looks different. For instance, when it messes up, right? And you discipline them. When you love them but aren't truly loving yourself, one of the things you'll find is you speak to them derogatory and in a really bad way when they do something wrong, which is not inappropriate. Okay, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you're very harsh on that child. Now, I've been in the same situation with the twins when they were 11, and now I have a 9 and an 11-year-old that are coming right back, right behind them. And when you love yourself, you don't yell at them. You sit them down and you discuss with them what's going on, because you know that if you yell at them, even if they deserve it, if you yell at them, you're possibly going to hurt their psyche and make them feel really, really bad. Like if you get them so bad, they can literally suffer PTSD, right? If you yell hard enough or punish hard enough, they can suffer PTSD. But if you sit them down and you talk to them, and what you're doing gets through a lot more. It actually means more to them, and you help them more, right? And if you're helping them more, then you know that you're doing them better good. And if that's the case, it's been my experience that only happens once you start to love yourself, because then you want to treat other people as well as you possibly can. It's really strange. And what I mean by that is, like, who is it? Scrooged, right? Or Scrooge, whatever you want to call it. If you remember overnight, he doesn't go from not loving himself to loving himself. He goes from hating the entire world to loving other people and being a gift giver, right? part of that transformation for him is the fact that giving gifts, he felt how that felt better than being a mean, nasty person, right? And it's the same thing when you are learning to love yourself. You literally, it becomes addictive, but in a very good way, as the more you love yourself and the more you see your potential of what you can be, that glows and you help other people find their potential. It's not about money. It's not about power, because I've had both of those, and when I didn't love myself. Now, I'm not saying that if you love yourself, you can't have money and power. In fact, I'm praying that I do so that I can show the world. And I'm not talking about huge money and huge power, but I hope I get there again. Although I am still, my mom will tell you, I sit around dealing with a lot of mixed emotions. The last time I had money and power, I was a real jerk. I think I've even talked about this with you, Joe. So, this company I'm having, it's already looking well and probably going to bring in a lot of money, which will naturally bring power. But here's the reality. As long as I continue to remain focused on the fact that I am doing this because I love myself, which means I love the world and I want to give back. It's just this simple 1, 2, 3, and it will be okay. And that's when someone like myself and a few others can show the world, hey, you can have a lot of money. And it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're worried about how do I live forever. It doesn't mean all of a sudden how do I make more fucking money, right? How can I save? And I won't even name any names right now, but there's so many of them. The typical thing to do when they become ultra rich is look for a way to live longer, right? You're gonna find a way to fucking beat death. No, you're not. You're gonna fucking beat death with it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm getting ready to get off of here. It's been over 30 minutes, so and I feel good. And I can't remember what I was saying. Oh gosh, I wish I wasn't such a stoner. No, that's not true. I think most likely you knew where I was going, and if I could rewind time, I would definitely jump back on the I know what the fuck I'm talking about boat. But you can't rewind time. That's not one of the things we can do, and you just have to know that it all happens the way it's supposed to. I continue to live that, continue to feel that, and the more that I take hold of that and love myself, which I knew we were talking about that, but the more that I take hold of that and truly love myself, the better I feel naturally. Now, like I said, right now, it feels like I'm programmed, straight up programmed against that. It's 1 year later, so I'm supposed to be really pissed off and angry. Like there's phases of what do you call it? Mourning, right? And that's one of them, is that I'm supposed to be really angry. Well, I don't want to be angry, number one, but it's happening, it's surfacing. I cannot stop it. It's really weird. But I love myself enough to know that is just a programmed emotion, and it's not where I have logically come to with what has happened and what is still happening, right? And what has happened and what is still happening, just so we are clear, yes, I lost my son. I have gained so much more. And I have learned that it is okay. It's okay. And if he were here, he would tell you it is okay to be okay with that. It's also okay to be upset with that, which is why I'm feeling both. You know what I mean? Both feelings are accept both feelings. I have a right to. And I imagine that every year I'll probably go through both of these feelings. I've talked to other parents who have lost children, and one of the things that everybody says it gets better. It doesn't. And I already knew that. I figured that out all the way up. And in fact, each year the day that it, happened, you got to understand there's a whole reliving and PTSD, if you will, of that day for me, right? And all I can tell you is it doesn't get better, but it becomes want to use the right word. It does become both easier and simpler through the moment when they come around. What I have found, I kid you not, I mean, almost, I won't quite say hourly, but every day throughout the day, I have another, moment of he's dead. That's never going to stop because he's not here and I don't get to talk to him. That's never going to stop. It does become simpler to get through it, which the more simple it becomes, then ultimately the easier it becomes because it's just a repetition thing, right? And one thing that I have done is I've become friends and no coincidence. I'll give you a for instance real quick of no coincidence because I started this other job, this other company, and I'm just going to say it in the simplest, easiest way. 3 out of 4 days, I met 3 parents out of 4 days that lost a child. Every single one of them lost a child younger than Skylar. One of them lost 2 children that their age together did not equal the number of years I had with Skylar. So when that went in front of my face, you can't deny it. That is for a reason. That was to show me, A, you can be here for them like they can be here for you. And B, it makes me, and I hate to say it, but if you can't get this, I don't understand. But it literally forces me to be more appreciative of the time that I had. Because no matter who you talk to, even the one that happened most recently, this guy was a year and a half older. Don't think that guy wouldn't give the world to have another 18 months with his son. You know what I mean? I know that when it comes to me, there's almost, I'm not going to pet cemetery shit because I do actually believe that there's a certain part of, I truly believe it. Not to a certain degree. I believe everything else for a reason. So if you were to bring somebody back, it's supposed to happen, but it's not going to be pretty. Let's just put it that way. So, as much as I would love to think that, I feel like I wouldn't, but until you're put there, you really don't know, do you? And all I can tell you is most parents would give their left testicle, chesticle, titty, whatever you want to call it, to have another day, much less 18 months. And to give you an idea, one of these folks I met lost a child at 2. That, to me, is devastating. That is devastating. You're just starting to get to know that bright little piece of sunshine, and it's taken away. So somebody always has it worse than you, and you have to have gratitude for what you have, and then share their pain and help them. I literally in 4 days met 3 people that I now consider kindred spirits, and they do too. This isn't a one-way street. They get it as well. We have something that a pain that only, and thank God, but a very few understand. Right? It's true. One thing about this world is pain does bring us together closer as a people. I mean, just look at AA, NA, all those A's, senseis. And they've done a lot of good. I still live my life by the 12 steps today. And I do believe in a higher power. I do choose to use the word God because it just makes it easier throughout the day. With all that behind us now, I just want to say I love all y'all. I will be streaming tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you're in the East, that's 7 Central. That is 6 o'clock. Mountain is 5, and Pac time, that's 4. I will be. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, NZ? Good to see you, brother. Kicking at bedrock is the only thing that can come into my head right now. That's like the only thing I can think of. Oh, I'll be here tomorrow. And what I will tell you is as Monday is an odd day, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I'm going to stream tomorrow, but I'm going to take that Monday off. Obviously, I'll be off on Tuesday, so I'll be back on the 25th. Just kind of giving you all that heads up right now. So I will be streaming tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And then again, I will be, what's that? There you go. Napa, it always wins, right? Not always. Anyway, tomorrow I will see all of you again. Well, maybe not all of you, but I will see some of you again for sure. That'll be 5 o'clock, and we'll start. I'm not going to be solemn about it. I'm going to try to be as chipper as I can. It is a celebration, and I do apologize for getting a little, like I'm telling you, I'm fighting this. Like, as much as I love myself, I'm angry at the fucking world. I can't not feel this way, right? Because I've tried. So that whole fake till you make it, I've been doing that, but right now I'm still on the fake side. So I love all you folks. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday night. I do pray that everybody has a beautiful one and enjoys it. Again, I'll be back tomorrow at a little bit earlier. So for my normal time is 7:20. So I'm going to be streaming 2 hours and 20 minutes earlier in remembrance of Skylar. So I love all you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Remember that you are incredibly important. You are incredibly special. You are here for purpose, and everything we do fucking matters. Don't believe the naysayers. Peace.
I switch here, I'm a strange fuck. Consist on ain't something I could say well. Throw my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day is swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.